Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
How are things in Vikensee?
They are the usual. It's obviously an acquired taste, but I like it very much, and I've enjoyed this edition a lot.
We've had some guys complaining that this year's edition, the restaurants were closed for most of it. Not didn't bother you.
I'm not going to say it's ideal, but you know, I don't really think it has affected me too much here. So whether I like get my food from at the restaurant or from takeaway doesn't really matter that much.
So what's the current power ranking of the Vike restaurants?
Yeah, that's a good question. Frankly, we've eaten at the hotel most of the time, which has been really fine. I would say first week or so, I was really happy with the food. I've started to get a little bit tired of it the last couple of days. But apart from that, I think the Tarantella, the Italian, is still the winner, closely followed by Klein Switzerland.
Fair enough. Another big question of the day: are you watching the tennis on the second screen?
Oh no, I'm boycotting. It's been a tradition to always watch the final on the day of the last round, and sometimes, like, if the final has been really really long and I play a relatively short last round game, I can even watch some after the game is finished. But I am boycotting this year, unfortunately. But I did follow a little bit of the score of the final. So is your boy watching it, or?
He seems to be in some slight trouble, yeah. But maybe he gets to break back in game 4 of this set, and then it's back on track. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I'm almost done with the completely irrelevant questions, which waste everybody's time.
No, that's what we're here for. And Magnus, how did your tournament go? You scored +5, and you mentioned if things had gone better, you could have scored even more points. How do you feel overall about it?
No, I feel really good about my play, especially coming off a tournament last year where I felt like I barely had chances in any game. Just to get a bunch of chances this time has been a great feeling. So I feel overall it was very very good. I do feel to some extent that I kind of took the obvious chances and left the more difficult ones on the table. So I guess that suggests that there's still quite a bit of room for improvement. But yeah, overall, of course, I'm very happy.
What do you want to do? You want to go through your games or have a look at the action-packed last round that's currently ongoing?
Yeah, we can have a little bit of a look at the games. Why not? That are being played right now. I mean, my games, they've been discussed pretty extensively already. There were obviously a lot of moments that you could go through, but I'm sure it would take a lot of time. So let's focus on the games that are being played right now. Well, first of all, I would say that Schach's draw form may seem a bit arbitrary.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a well-known drawn line, which goes bishop b6, b5, knight d4, sorry, b6.
Yeah.
Oh, this is some
knight
Ishi games,
e4,
though.
so
Like,
on,
yeah.
And this is just liquidates to a drawn position. So it does make a little bit of sense. Like, it's not just that they played 13 normal moves and made the draw. It actually is a prelude to a very, very drawish line. And I have to say, looking at the other games, I'm intrigued by Prague's play in this game, since I actually tried to do something similar against Nakamura once in the Armageddon game of the tour final in 2020, and I failed spectacularly in that game. But the plan for White is not so dumb, actually. That you play this structure which kind of looks horrible, but you can sort of stay afloat with this plan of bringing the knight to f1 to e3 and the bishop to h4, and your pieces that look horrible might not be that bad, and it's not that easy for Black to improve his position, even though it looks nice with everything protected. I guess it's the old theory that if your pieces are poorly placed, you have more useful moves because you can spend time improving them.
Yeah. We were not really all that happy with knight c7. We spent some time discussing this position, and it feels that getting it to f6 is so important that you probably should be playing g6 instead of knight c7.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, you can play g6 instead of knight e7.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the old theory.
Yeah.
So
White will probably go for the same plan, but you won't have to waste time on 97. But I feel like what he's gotten here is pretty playable, actually. I do already feel that Black has to be somewhat careful, since his pieces are pretty far away from e4, and the bishop is not getting to b7.
Well, you can play rook b8 and maybe start trading, but yeah, with knight on c7, all of this looks a lot less harmonious than it would have with the knight on the best square.
But we'll see. I feel like Yesipenko is really strong in maneuvering in general. I don't know. You probably know him better, but that was the impression that I got, that he generally knows how to put his pieces on good squares. So I'm sure he'll find a decent way.
Mm.
And he's
having said that, knight c8.
Knight c8, yeah, that's a really classy move. I don't know if it's a good move, but it shows.
Yeah. He's really inviting something bad happening on the king side, though. Like, I'm instantly looking at like knight f5, bishop f5, all of those things. None of them will work, but that's my immediate first reaction is, this has to be punished while the rooks are disconnected and the knight moved away. But we don't really have enough attackers for that. Feels like.
Can we go h4 at least, or is that not?
Yeah, we could, yeah. Or we could still go knight f1, knight e3 and pretend our plan hasn't really changed all that much.
Yeah, it's not impossible to see some. I take it back. It is probably. I mean, knight f1, g3, e3, maybe g4. I was thinking, but looks really ugly.
Yeah, probably won't be in time because knight b6, rook a8, black is already.
Yeah. Or even rook b8, and then g4. There's bishop b7.
Yeah, get the bishop to b7, then put it on e8. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, do you think there will be like a slight revival for 4A3? Because it's in the 2 games we've had this tournament, it's done its job admirably, right? Jordan beat Anish, and yeah, Prague is now. I mean, as you said, the position is definitely playable.
But again,
we seem to be having some connection issues here. Sorry for that.
yeah, I think the connection issues are on my side.
No worries. 4A3. Great move. Peter Svidler played himself in 2013 candidates. Magnus, he also played it quite a bit, normally in must-win games, no? Like some.
Yeah, I beat Geary with it in the Chessable Masters, I think, in one of the Blitz games. I also lost a few games. I lost to Levon twice. But yeah, as a competitor, I was not like immediately thrilled to see Jordan play it against Anish this time. But it worked out really well for him, you got to say.
Yep.
Speaking of Jordan, I think he's yeah, that's really puzzling what's happening in that game. But at least he's following the old Bent Larsen. No, I thought he was, but what Larsen said about isolated pawns, that they should be captured, not blockaded.
Yeah, I was wondering if Queen d4 was the best way to proceed, but actually he might still be sort of on course to cause, you know, great pain to Sam very concretely, because like takes happened. Bishop d7 I think loses a pawn to c4, right? So you kind of have to go to g6. Unless you want to actually give it up and play, like, put a blocker on d6 and say this is fine. Like bishop d7, c4, we play some move to force c5, rook ac8 here, yeah?
Yeah.
cd5, knight d6, and we claim that this is holdable. Which it probably is, actually, yeah?
Black position looks a lot nicer than it did a couple of moves ago.
Yeah. Or you can play bishop g6, which I thought was the obvious choice, and then I realized knight b5 might be extremely annoying. Because I don't think there's a comfortable way of dealing with this. No. You might be losing material here as well. Yeah, knight c7, rook a d1, all kinds of threats. It's very annoying to my eyes.
Yeah, bishop g6 just looks extremely ugly.
Yeah, but the other one loses a pawn, so it's kind of.
No, I mean, Sam has done really poorly here. I don't really understand what he was trying to do, and getting these isolated pawn positions. Like the way I would usually think, let's say when he played e5, is I would think that with white, I don't know, I'm better, I'm probably going to win. And with black, I'm thinking, yeah, I have one weakness, this is just a draw. So I think it's really a matter of, I think both viewpoints are kind of reasonable. And
nice
the truth
is
probably somewhere in between.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the old Lasker story that I was told when I was a kid. Yeah, that some kind of a post-mortem between, I think, Lasker and Tartakova, where, you know, they're discussing, and, you know, Tartakova says, I was completely fine the whole game, and then Lasker just, without saying anything, just shows him move by move that, you know, he was better at some critical position. So Tartakova says, okay, so I was worse. And then Lasker just turns the board around and equalizes from his spot.
Yeah.
And like it's basically, it's kind of makes sense to be good at the game at some point.
Yeah, but it feels like he was not really in time. That was the problem. Like usually if black can sort of consolidate and you get some standard position where even without the queens, to be fair, just the knight comes to d4, you put the bishop on d7, and you're really asking if this is anything anything special. Like this queen d6, if knight goes to d4, rook to e8. This, for instance, I think it's just a draw.
Yeah, even though we've obviously seen, strong players lose this. Like I'm sure there's some, I don't know, Karpov Gurevich games from the years gone by where this ended up not being a draw. But in general, they do seem holdable.
Sure, and it's also very interesting to see the difference between having the pawn on c3 and having the pawn on e3. It does feel intuitively to me, and it's kind of always felt that way, that it's a little bit more promising to have the pawn on c3. Maybe because you can use the e3 square for the knight, and since you have an extra pawn on the queen side, I mean, the c file is a little bit sort of easier to cover than sort of harder to cover than the d file. I'm not really sure, but it does feel a little bit more promising.
Yeah, also the c4 break is more realistic than the e4 break sometimes. No?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and Sam actually does make the decision that we were sort of expecting him to make, realizing that pieces on good squares are actually more important here than trying to preserve the pawn on d5. Or perhaps it was just impossible. Perhaps he was losing it anyway after bishop g6, just in a much worse version.
Or he just missed c4.
Or that, but yeah, we sort of discount that.
Yeah, so it's actually a real question whether white actually wants to take that.
Yeah.
Because you can sort of envisage a plan like rook to d1 and then knight to c2 as well. But the problem is you're going to be bothered by bishop to a4. So I'm pretty sure.
Maybe we do it immediately. If we want to do it, we do it in the other order. We get the knight to e3 and then we go bishop rook d1. Yeah. So we go knight.
That would maybe be a lot more promising.
Yeah,
if it could happen.
Is there, like, if you have this position with white, would you be bothered by this idea that if I don't play c4 now and I don't win the game, and then the game finishes, and I think to myself, I could have been a pawn up by move 18 for nothing, like a healthy central extra pawn, and I chose to be fancy and actually never won it again. And let's not be stupid here. And is this a train of thought that ever enters your head, or?
Yeah, sure. I think it's only it's really normal that you sort of sense that it's a critical moment, and I mean, knowing when and how to cash in is one of the most difficult things to do. So you're inevitably going to have these thoughts.
How do you feel about Sam's tournament and Sam's chess in general? He looked very well prepared here, but he didn't score as many points as maybe his positions warranted. No?
Yeah. So I have nothing against Sam at all. Let me preface this by saying that. So I was referred to and then saw his tweet about his game against Duda, which I didn't really get. Like, he was apologizing and so on. Like, you didn't have to accept the draw. Like, I understand that getting a draw from such a strong player at move 11 with black is interesting, and you're never very likely to win the position. But like, why accept a draw and then apologize instead of playing an equal position?
Yeah, this is I was with you for the first half of this, and then we veered off in wildly different directions, because I think why accept a draw and apologize when you can accept a draw and not apologize?
Well, that's another.
No, because he also said this shouldn't happen, but sometimes with black you have no choice. Still, it's not a good example. So yeah, which one was it? then again, it's completely fine to accept the draw here. No, he's not going to win a lot.
Yeah, but no, but then don't apologize. Like, don't apologize for the lack of. I mean, it seemed to me in his apology that he didn't consider playing on, which I found just like equal positions are won and lost all the time, and especially against somebody who clearly wants to beat you and will probably take risks to win a position that is not winning. I mean, you can see Duda's game against Jordan yesterday, where he almost lost an equal position by trying to win it. So even though I guess Duda's draw offer kind of indicated that he was not particularly trying to win, I think if the game had continued, you know, a lot of things could have happened. Well, I don't know really what I'm trying to get at. It's just I don't understand his thinking there, or his tweet. Well, first of all, obviously, don't apologize. That's for anything. But yeah, this was just very, very strange.
Now you're speaking Peter's language.
But yeah, to talk about his tournament in general, yeah, he's really well prepared. It feels like I don't know if he's like lacked the confidence or something to bring some of these positions home, but it hasn't really happened for him. But he didn't seem out of place at all. So I'm happy for him that he got to win finally, which was most of all a surprise to me, because I looked at the game. I thought it was a perpetual, and I saw that the game had ended. So I was really surprised to find out after the game that he'd actually won. Which, yeah, I didn't find that out until after my game was finished.
As you mentioned, the topics of apologizing or not apologizing for quick draws. How did you feel about Kayakin's initial tweet? And there were, I think, some follow-up tweets where he said, hashtag draw Magnus, hashtag say no to 2900.
I thought it was pretty funny. I didn't. I mean, leaving aside the questions of whether you should brag about forcing a draw with with the white pieces, you know, it was a good idea. I don't 100% know about the execution, but I can appreciate the idea behind a good tweet.
Right.
Yeah, talking about the idea behind the good tweets, obviously the yesterday's foray into this field by the challenger was an interesting one. Yeah, the attempt to slightly rag on Sam for playing a very, very drawish line, which then somewhat backfired. But Jan, what I like about Jan is that he very easily owns all of this crap. You know, he just he jinxed a little with a shrug emoji. I thought was just perfect.
Yeah.
Those were great tweets. Yeah.
No, I mean, you obviously you're gonna be made to look stupid if you if you miss. So that's part of the game.
Yep.
Do we have any exciting
And Jordan's played C4. He couldn't live with.
He
couldn't
clearly
live with himself.
Yeah, the thought was too nagging. He couldn't really do it.
It's a bit surprising though. Or maybe it isn't. I'm not sure. Yeah, Jordan likes to play concretely, but he also really doesn't like material. So this must have been. There must have been some real qualms there that were nagging him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Your position just got so much uglier from
Yeah, you kill off your own bishop on f3. You provide black with an absolutely perfect square for the knight.
Yeah,
There
like
will be a lot of
all of like suddenly like every single black piece is on their best squares, like magically.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you guys evaluate winning chances versus drawing chances here?
No, I'm seriously, we're playing for 3 results here.
That is some serious shot taking right there, yeah.
No, I mean, it's good and bad. So Jordan could end up finding some unbelievable way to force the issue here, which just spectacularly backfires, or it could win spectacularly. So anything can happen.
What do you think about Jordan's tournament, Joe? Defending champion, 50%, a lot of decisive games. Should he be happy or not?
Well, I mean, he's been responsible for half the action, I feel.
Yeah.
Like winning 4 and losing 4. What can you say? He's been it's been really, I mean, for me as a player, but also as a spectator, his games have been pretty much the main attraction. So it's been great to see.
Yeah, one question I wanted to ask: what do you think about the play of your one definitely known opponent if you decide to play next year? The one person you know you will be facing. What do you think of him? Arjun.
That was so cryptic a question. That's Eric Geisel.
Duda or
Erigaisi, I think, no?
Erigaisi, known. We're talking about this tournament.
Yeah, this tournament. Yeah, if you choose to play this tournament next year, yeah, as a winner.
Yeah, he's kind of yeah, he's kind of cooled off the last couple of rounds, but he's really strong. I mean, as I said before, he's by far the best player in the challengers, and he's taken huge strides recently, but there really isn't that much to distinguish his play from that of most players of the Masters group. He's I think he's gonna play and he's gonna belong next year. That's would be my prediction. By the way, Duda seems, I don't know what.
Yeah, the whole sequence of first of all not playing 97 and then just castling into it, and yeah, and also not bishop a7 in this position. It's very like why does Niels not play bishop a7 here? Why do we not drive the queen to an even worse square?
Maybe he didn't think it was an even worse square.
Clearly, yeah, but why? Why exactly?
Yeah.
But yeah, what he's done is also perfectly sensible. And just castling into g4 h4 seems very, very counterintuitive. I guess now we go 97 and we go for some very fast counterplay against the bishop on b3. But how fast is it even?
I'm not even sure you have to react.
Yeah.
To 97.
97 g5 also looks very playable.
Yeah.
Looks very, very playable. Yeah, it feels like, after Sam apologized, young Krzysztof is now, he feels he needs to amend his ways, and like, the apology actually forced young Krzysztof to do some really, really weird things in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah. I mean, I feel also that Nils has really kind of elevated his level of play the last few rounds. And he is in that position where everybody's trying to beat him with both colors towards the end. And like, if you have a little bit of energy, which he generally does, because he lives a very, very, very healthy life and always has I don't know why you're smiling, Jan, but
It's a topic that comes up once in a while. Yeah. He does enjoy his sleep and his coffee. And yeah, no bad habits there.
no bad habits, that's for sure. But like he should be in prime position to be in good shape at the end of the tournament, and he really has the chance to sort of rectify some of the bad things that happened to him at the start.
And this position in general, he should be enjoying quite a bit, even though it's not that we had an argument, but there seems to be some kind of a, every time I say something along the lines of Niels is an exciting attacking player, he very much likes giving mate, Jan kind of gives me a bit of a side eye.
What? No, I couldn't agree more. It was just what you said that the last time he exchanged queens instead of checkmating Dubov, but he went for the Zen game.
Yeah, that was such a weird game. Yeah.
But this is where he lives. No, with black he's played dodgy Sicilians where you almost get checkmated for most of his career, and so he has a lot of experience in these positions. I think he'd be thrilled to play.
Yeah, I mean, Nils calculates brilliantly.
Yeah.
And he really, really, I mean, that's the way he grew up, playing sharp positions. So he's really made his repertoire more solid to play against the best, but at heart, he's still an attacking player. So yeah, but it has to be said that it's not a given that he's going to win this game.
Of course not. It's
no, but I mean, I would suspect that white is winning.
Winning even? You think it's this bad? Yeah. It does feel close. Yeah. And G5 looks very, very strong.
Maybe not even G4, just G5. Maybe just Bishop D4.
Bishop D4 we start running, like we go B5.
Maybe I'm missing something. It's just mate, no?
It looks very, very matey, yeah. Definitely does look very, very matey here, because with the Bishop on D4 in particular, allowing G5 and that non-reacting will get you mated very quickly, and E6, E5 is unthinkable, so you don't even have any kind of way of dealing with the Bishop on D4 comfortably. Knight C5, G5 looks kind of lost. Yeah.
The only way you can imagine is Knight C5, G5. There's some kind of Bishop Knight B3.
And then E5 somewhere, yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, exactly. No counterplay.
Yeah. You might still get mated, and you also killed off all of your play. Very, very efficient. Like Bishop B3, H5 here or something. And yeah, like it's... Oh, Bishop A7 exists. This is why Niels didn't play it earlier. Bishop A7 and GH now. In that position, we go.
No, but I thought H5, not E5.
Oh yeah, H5 here. Oh, okay, yeah. And now I'm very tempted to start calculating Bishop F6, but I will restrain myself.
Yeah, me too. Me too, that's for sure.
I will restrain.
And Yashisev has gone Knight C5, so he has the same ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
what
else can you even play? It feels like everything else might just be losing by force.
So he wants to go G5 and then H5 immediately, because if you start taking on C5 and then queen comes to F4.
Yeah, so you can also do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we go... I wanted to say we go G6, but opening the F file actually brings some pieces into the defense, yeah, so maybe you're not as dead as we would have thought.
Yeah, G6, you
G6
take
we take on B3, we go maybe even FG or E5 first. I don't know, E5 once again.
FG and then Bishop to E8. What's the big deal?
No, we take on B3. Okay. Yeah, takes FG, and and then we protect everything. Yeah, it's not even that horrible. Suddenly.
No. Maybe I was just too superficial in my assessment there.
Yeah, but that brings us back to the idea that we could have started with G5, and then this play would have been probably unavailable because of how strong G6 would have been.
Yeah. Unless you just don't care. You take on B6, you go H5, G6, Bishop F6.
Yeah, something like that, yeah, and take with the king, and...
Maybe then Queen A5 wins.
Yeah. Yeah, all of this looks extremely...
E5, F... Oh, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, Chad is saying Niels lost his advantage, missed G5, so probably
really?
computers like G5 directly as well.
So we're onto something.
Mm. Yeah. Is this anything, or is this still within the margins?
C4, Karpov Kasparov.
Not enough pieces, right?
Yeah.
And the king is on d6 already, so...
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can play bishop d5 and then get it with the bishop on d5, I think, which is probably a better version, I assume. Unless bishop d5, bishop b7.
Bishop b7.
Ah, bishop b7, yeah. Yeah, I realized just as I was saying those words. Yeah.
This has been ugly, no? I had this against Wesley, and I feel like I made it draw a lot easier.
Yeah, you play bishop e2 here, and Sasha played check and rook e5, and Vidit did neither of those things. Check and rook e5.
Yes, I remember. I remember now the point. Bishop e2, bishop d5, rook d8, c4, c6 was the key.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, bishop e2 is just a draw. So what was he doing?
He took some time for rook e5, so yeah, he probably just couldn't recall the line.
And then I think also bishop e2, bishop c6. I think bishop c4 is a draw, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, I think this is a draw. But yeah.
So he did this, went back.
But why rook a3? Why not put the rook on like... Didn't the rook look nice on the c file?
Yeah, but you need to make progress. I was wondering just sort of how to make any progress at all. Because black, I guess, goes like king e8, king g8, and then it becomes more manageable with the pawn c7 protected, I suppose.
Oh, king e8, I sort of tricked you by going bishop c6 and then rook a5.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I guess
maybe
you
he
go
thought...
bishop c8 first. I'm not sure if you're completely untangling though. Bring the king to f4. Something.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's all a devious plan by Vidit to make Sergei actually play chess today, which I don't think was the original plan, but is going to be the plan now.
No, but this is again. I'm kind of surprised that this line still exists for white, because I thought this bishop c3 followed by d4 was just worked out to a draw. And I see like at least semi-serious people play this line for white trying to win. I just don't get it. Maybe like you're trying to induce black to play rook b8, and then you get some kind of fight.
I think it's interesting. What like things you're saying are interesting and relevant, just maybe not for this particular game, because I think your original premise is wrong for this game.
No. I agree. I don't think Sergei is trying to win. So, but in general, I'm saying in general, serious or semi-serious people are trying to play this line for a win. I'm just trying to get it.
It's in the Chicken Chess Club we endorse such lines. You can never ever lose after d4. Your opponent misremembers something. You might have decent winning
the
chance
thing is,
without
black
any
is
risk.
not worse at all after rook b8.
That's the pro. Rook b8, we have to study very, very hard, because here you might have a chess game. So here we need to be extremely well prepared.
Yeah, I mean, bishop
That's also not worse.
Bishop d2 is insane. Like ed5, that's much more suitable for the CCC.
Oh yeah, ed5, this has been studied in great detail. Bishop g4, we're safe now. And cd, we also feel like it's under control. I agree, but ED5 you get a bad reputation because it looks like you're trying to make a draw. Well, Bishop D2 looks like you're trying to be cutting edge and fun and exciting, so that also plays into it. Like the exchange Slav is a great opening, but it's bad for reputation. So we endorse Bishop D2 by Sergey.
For a while, but this has been. Okay, I think I'm back. I
Yep.
usually hear you.
Jordan thinking now?
Are you thinking about B3?
Yeah, but I think eventually we can force you to take on d5 here somehow, right? There's no way to. Is there?
I mean, knight f6 and then take on e1 and knight e8, but then white has at least won some time.
Yeah, that's an improvement, yeah, but surely there must be a way to force d5 without going through all of this.
Maybe knight c3? No, that's probably dumb. I was thinking, and then if rook ec1, you go back to e4.
Mm.
But maybe
my question was sort of more of an all-round question. Like if we just continue doing nothing, I don't know if I play. I don't know if I want to touch the deep, like play a5 or whatever. Like what is this? What is the setup from white that will ever threaten anything that is not c takes d5? Rook e3, rook ag1, and then knight e2, knight f4 or something. Yeah, like stop knight c3 first, and then we go rook d1 without having to think about knight c3, and then we move the knight away and attack the pawn on d5 after. Maybe that's the way, yeah, something like that.
Maybe. Well, first of all, I want to explain why Jordan went h4.
Go on.
He played it because it looks cool. I'm pretty sure that is the reason. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that was at least part of it. Yeah, no, the follow-up is not so easy to see. And b3 is also not really desirable positionally.
No.
So you better have some concrete plan.
Come on, Jordan. Sorry. Can you go here?
At the very least, there's knight f6.
Yeah.
And you get the same thing.
And here you take...
Not winning by self-pinning or something, yeah.
I understand.
Oh, and Niels has gone rook g1, which is... I don't know if it's good, but it's kind of clever at least.
Yeah, he wants to get bishop f6 in, yeah?
Yeah.
So this, you go g5, h5, bishop f6, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know how happy we are, though. Like, black goes queen a7 there, queen c7. I don't know which square is better.
Sounds nice.
He just ignores it.
And queen d4?
Queen d4, yeah.
Queen d4? Oh, you're... Oh, I didn't even see you're allowing the exchange of queens, but you probably win a pawn there. No, you don't. There's a bishop d8. That's a shame.
What do you do? Rook d4, bishop d8?
Yeah,
you still kind of win a pawn. You take and rook d1.
Yeah. This is the old Topalov-Kasparov type games, yeah. The bishop f6s of the world. Yeah, Jordan ended up taking on d5, so.
Oof.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Sam will just hold this, I think, yeah. It's just... I'm still not entirely over the idea that this is a play for 3 results. I need some more time to process this very, very fresh concept for me.
Just wait and see.
Yeah, I understand that.
Whatever happens, this is great content for Sam's next book or chessable course, like the art of defending bad positions. Sometimes it's better to give up a pawn and to improve your pieces. Like I can see a lot of educational material out of this game.
Okay, so maybe Jordan wants to go g4, bring the king to g3, so on. So if you can achieve this, that would be a huge improvement.
Which pieces do you feel it like? Which of these endgames are the most drawn? Like, if I get all 4 rooks off the board and just leave the light pieces on, that's close to a complete draw, right? As long as I get to play, I don't know,
There's
h6.
a lot of pawns. So, I mean, the obvious comparison is the game Wang Hao against MVL from the candidates. And then MVL did manage to hold. But it was not at all easy. I wouldn't be convinced. With rooks and knights off, I would say it's probably a pretty simple draw.
Yeah, let's say black gets to d6 here and goes like f6, g5 or whatever, and
Yeah.
those types of positions should be quite easily holdable. Even this honestly just looks to me like it shouldn't be very much. I understand there's still play left.
No,
but...
though, if you're able to kind of centralize your king, I agree. I agree. But I don't think white is ever going to exchange both pairs of rooks. So it's more of a philosophical discussion than anything else.
Yep. Jordan does take on e8.
Yeah, I would suspect king e8 now. I don't really understand taking on e8. Feels like the king is a bit better on d8 than on f8. More flexible, and I don't see the downside. But I think he just wants g4.
And we're not at all worried about rook c4, rook d1, right? We feel we always have things under control in those types of...
So now I'm starting to think king comes to g3, and then h5, and here you start to see the play for 3 results. No.
Yeah.
That would already be a bit awkward, I think.
Yeah, like we cunningly make like 2 waiting, like we go king e7, yeah, or yeah, just lose to tempi somehow, king g3, h5, and yeah, this is a bit awkward, yeah. b3 does exist, but yeah, let's ignore that.
Yeah, let's ignore that.
Yeah.
Let's say black spends the time going a5, a4, so that b3 can be met by a and rook b4.
Yeah, you might lose this with white, yeah. I can definitely see it happening.
Chad is saying Sam will hold but resign in a drawn position. Nah.
No, you only do this like once or twice per career. Normally not more than twice.
So
I know you're being self-deprecating, but I don't know your number. I only know the one famous example.
Yeah, the second one. I think the second one that gets pinned on me is the one I will defend with my dying breath kind of thing. I resigned against Sanan Sigurov in a Russian super final and moved 25 in the position with equal material. But the position is completely lost. Like, you just never ever not lose that position. I just was, and also it was so sickening to look at that I just kind of wanted to be elsewhere. It was not enjoyable to just sit there and wait for your pawns to start falling off. So I shook his hand and went away.
Speaking of wanting to be elsewhere, Magnus, what are your tournament plans for after this one?
No, I'm gonna play the tour online.
Right.
But
Meltwater Champions Chess Tour coming back. I think we lost Magnus. Sorry, couldn't catch any of that. I think that's some connection issue.
But okay, let's start again.
Yep. So Magnus, what are your plans for the future?
Oh, yeah. So the obviously the tour is starting soon, or fairly soon. So that will be my kind of more immediate plans. So that's gonna be fun. Apart from that, I'm playing Norway chess. Don't know about any other.
Right. I think we lost Magnus again, but we get the info. The Champions Chess Tour, then Norway Chess. Nothing else coming up. Chess saying Netherlands internet the best in the world, actually, in general. There you go.
Yeah, but hotel Wi-Fi is... Everybody has stories about hotel Wi-Fi, and we currently are living in one.
Especially hotels full of chess players and seconds watching games and running heavy machinery.
Or possibly watching shows and running heavy machinery.
That he's just gone. Maybe that was Magnus Carlsen. Maybe he'll come back. Either way, thanks so much for showing up on this little program.
Yeah, that's always very much appreciated because, yeah, well, just, hearing him talk about chess is extremely valuable to, I think, players of all levels.
Yeah. He knows stuff.
World champions. Do they know stuff?
What do they know?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Yeah, in the meantime, we've been sort of ignoring the Nimzo, which progressed very much along the ways that we've sort of expected. White got the bishop to h4, got the knight to e3, and Black in the meantime also achieved some progress, I guess, blocking the b file, getting the rooks connected, getting some pressure against the white queen side. The one big issue Black still has is I think Andrei would very much prefer the bishop to be on the long diagonal, and Magnus was suggesting rook b8 instead of rook a e8 on move 21.
Yeah.
Wasn't played, and that bishop is still kind of stuck on a square where it's not doing very much. But White still needs to do something very quickly. It feels like if you give Black time to consolidate further, maybe Andrei will find a moment to get the bishop to a better square, and then his position is not bad at all. So it's either some kind of a push with g2, g4, as Magnus was trying to make in some other positions, or maybe something on the queen side, even though I don't know what that, something on the queen side is. And looks like we might get him back.
Yeah, so I will say that I think g4 was probably a threat in that game if queen g7 hadn't happened. And it really is, well, apart from doubling rooks on the e-file, it really is White's only active idea. I'm taking it back. I could see a4 happening at some point as well. But after queen g7, it does feel as though c3 has to be protected. Because you're not only losing a pawn, your pieces will be a bit loose, and you're giving up the d4 square as well.
How do we do it? Rook bc1?
Well, I suspect rook bc1, yeah. And then, rook e6 is an obvious move. But then you would have at least have to consider g4, I would say.
Yeah, this is seemingly the absolute critical idea here.
And then, who knows? Bishops can be very strong. like these were probably the worst bishops you've ever seen 10 moves ago. They could end up being the rulers of the board. And that knight on b6 could end up looking pretty stupid.
Yeah, it's doing a fine job sort of restricting play for now, but if the entire play gets shifted to the king side, it will be passive observer.
Yeah.
And kind of a all hands on deck situation where you might need it in play.
So for instance, g4 takes. Maybe you just take with the queen.
I think queen takes, yeah.
Yeah, rook e8, you protect the knight, queen g3, let's say. And then you're ready to go.
Yeah, the thing is f5 is a queen trade currently, so maybe we have time to play bishop b7, just f5 gf and pretend.
Yeah, but I feel like even trading the queens, you're still gonna have an attack.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not fun. I was just wondering. Yeah, it's actually probably very bad. Yeah, specifically like this, and then you take on e6, you go rook f1, and
yeah,
there's going to be a very, very strong mating attack on the king side. All of these guys on the queen side are going to be very difficult to bring into the game.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's a dream, because the dream would be this position, but with queens on the board. But it's as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Ragnar not taking his time here.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, they got here, because they blitzed out much of the opening, they got here reasonably quickly without really burning too much time, so they have now plenty left in the tank to consider their options. Niels has done something really weird. Niels played rook g1 and then followed b5 with h5 instead of g5. Sort of hard committing to sacrificing a lot of material, I assume, because if you if the play actually shifts to the queen side here, you probably don't come out ahead because of how stupid the bishop on b3 is. So like to a6, a5, I have a feeling he's just going to start sacrificing stuff. A lot of stuff.
What kind of stuff, sir?
Yeah, we go g5 here. Like we just, we made sure that h6, h5 is an illegal move, and now we start throwing things into the fire and
no stuff.
Whoever said that Nils was not an attacking player?
And yeah, Duda goes b4, which I mean, it's clearly also an option, but I was somehow a bit worried about bishop takes c5, but now that I look at things, yeah, you're never worried about bishop takes c5 here. The knight just never gets to the c4 square. So it has to go somewhere, I guess knight e2. And
Maybe b1.
Maybe b1, but yeah. My point is
a bit slow.
My point is, even something really stupid like we take on b3, we go e5 and f6.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest it myself.
It's really not that, because there will be an attack on the queen side now. We're guaranteed.
A5, a4 is mate.
Yeah, pretty much. So as long as we survive on the king side here as black, we're doing quite well. And if e5, f6 doesn't really look very beautiful, but if it does the job of allowing us not to get mated, I think we do it.
Oh, it's like the old Fischer-Larsen game, yeah, where black had to make like 2 defensive moves, and then after knight b3, just a5, a4, just you run. There's just no defense. Could be.
Yeah, looks like Niels has lost the thread here a little bit.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, or not a little bit, yeah.
Why do you go h5? You just thought g5, h5 is so strong I can't allow it? Like,
I guess.
Played rook g1 to have g6 here. I don't get it.
I guess. Is there a way to ignore it completely? Like, can we go g5 now?
Yeah, that would be the only possible justification, I guess.
It looks weird, but maybe. I think bcgh actually might work. And bishop g5, f4 I don't hate all that much either. At least it gets crazy. BC, FG, knight takes e4, and then yeah, there's some shades of the old like Geller Fischer games or whatever they are. I don't know if we have mate there with white, but at least it's interesting.
At least you have queen e3.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But maybe HG, maybe G5 HG, and just ask for, further proof of whatever it is.
Yeah, H6.
H6 looks kind of scary, actually. I definitely like this better than any kind of a knight retreat.
Niels is gonna do it. The problem is he's gonna spend 10 more minutes and he will be short on time, but this will be drama.
Yeah, I gotta say the games that are left are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Even Karyakin is not dead, in spite of whatever his intentions were.
Yeah. Just as he thought, it's one of those just as he thought he was out. Yeah, they they pulled him back in somehow.
Pulled him back in. Well, now c4.
Yeah, and then rook a5, and it gets.
And you win a pawn.
You might actually be. So like king e7, rook a7 will even be a check, so it's maybe even worse. Yeah, I don't know. Rook a5, rook c6, bishop a4, rook, I don't know, b6. But I never really get any tangible counterplay here. The bishop just returns to b3.
No. I mean, Gary never got any counterplay either.
Yeah, I thought you were kind of joking, but you really aren't.
No.
You really, really aren't.
Don't I get the pawn back? I have rook a5.
Rook e5 check and ask you which side you prefer.
Try to play both sides.
Yeah, rook d4. Yeah, it's I mean, it might be a draw long term, like rook d7, rook b7 or whatever, but it's not an enjoyable draw.
Yeah.
Come on, Niels. No retreat, no surrender.
Wow. That's a weird reference coming from you. It's a movie with Jean-Claude as the bad guy.
Okay, so could he be thinking about knight d5 first?
And then g5.
At any point to that?
Ed g5, hg. No, he went g5. He went g5 first.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So we assume BCGH is just very bad, right? BCGH looks like you're getting mated quite quickly.
Yeah.
Knight b3, a takes b doesn't really do very much either. Bishop takes g5, f4, I think, is less attractive than... Is it? I don't know. Just trying to eliminate...
By the way, I'm just baffled by what Sam did. I don't understand it at all. Can we try and explain it? Because I cannot. Like, why would you go bishop e7? Sorry, bishop e8, bishop d7, and then king e7? Instead of king e8 first.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I was just, I don't know.
I think he's flexing. I think he's saying this is so drawn. I can do it while also wasting as many tempi as I like.
Yeah. But now he doesn't have time to go a5, a4 to set up. Maybe now he should go h6, actually.
Yeah, it feels like it might be a useful thing to have prepared. Yeah, ask the question if you want to allow g5, if maybe you want to play g5 yourself, which might provide us with additional counterplay.
Well, it might provide you with a fork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, do you want to play G5?
Yeah, I think so.
I
Why
think
not?
so. Yeah. I think I'm very much in favor of. Yeah.
I think white is not even close. I mean, how can white ever create a threat here?
Yeah. This is what I was saying. I just don't understand why we're in trouble. But
Yeah.
people do occasionally lose these positions somehow. I don't know. Takes, go bishop g2, play f4.
But I think the way people lose these positions are by trying to force something. If you just accept that you're a pawn down, but your position is fine, I don't think you lose.
Mm-hmm.
And Karyakin has played c4.
Yeah, and our all-knowing chat is confirming that white is a pawn up now.
Yeah.
Not false. A lot of love for Magnus's hoodie in the chats. People want to know what hoodie that is.
Oh, yeah, this is product placement.
Oh, excellent.
As in the tour. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Any other question? Please, guys, ask Magnus who he wants to be his challenger for the World Championship. Magnus, who do you want to be your challenger for the World Championship?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are so many things I could answer, but I will plead the fifth.
Previously unheard of as well.
We did ask.
Yeah.
Niels, who do you want Duda to capture on G5 with? This just looks bad, no? Like,
I don't know. I was trying to somehow, like, I can go knight b3 and e5 here and maybe not die. That was the closest I got to maybe kind of surviving, sort of. But yeah, obviously not altogether happy about how things are going. HG king g7. I expect white can leave more or less any of the pieces on pre. Like bishop b3. But are we sure I cannot take? Like I was trying to figure out after bishop b3. Can I actually go bc and run? Takes king f6 and run. King e6 after queen h4. The thing is, after b takes c3, I might not be better. Like even if there is no mate, I think the king on e6 is so horrible that white probably has enough play just playing quietly. But maybe I don't get mated here.
Yeah. Guess you probably don't. Could white play more subtly somehow?
I was
Like-
wondering about giving up the other piece as well. Like you can, instead of bishop b3, maybe you can go knight e2. But once again, maybe I can take and play bishop d7 and not die. Yeah. There's plenty here, like queen h4 might be a move, but
Yeah, with queen h4, maybe there's rook h8.
yeah.
Kind of connected to queen h4 as well,
But also, like, we were kind of okay playing f6 earlier. I don't really know why we're suddenly not okay playing f6 here.
yeah.
in
So
the
we could, of
CCC,
course,
we
go
would try to
bishop
keep
a7.
our peace. Can we do that?
No, but not. But let's go bishop a7 first.
All right.
Be more flexible. And if queen c7, we go bishop b6.
Okay, here
And
we
here,
jump.
maybe we go knight e2.
Yeah, this is still very, very sharp. Who knows what this is? Yeah, like, I go bishop d7, I guess. Or maybe f6 and then bishop d7. I feel like I probably will not manage without the f6 move.
Probably
And,
good for black.
trying to get the bishop to e6 play, I don't know, rook h8, king f7, and just get a kind of a slower game.
Yeah, this looks good.
Yeah. Going to be a mess, and from Niels's perspective, very important that he played, like, he pulled the trigger quickly enough and has not left himself 3 minutes here, because there's still going to be plenty of decisions to be made, so
Yeah.
he needs time.
Well, speaking of needing time, I need time for other activities.
Very unconvincing. Thank you so much for joining, and congratulations once again for a very convincing victory. Your 8th victory in Vancouver. World champion Magnus Carlsen.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me.